Hey guys, before this episode starts, I want to talk about some pretty cool news. Okie Investigations now has its own website. It's truecrime.blog, and it is a running blog for crime stories and for this show. So if you're a true crime buff and you want to see some cool things that we gathered while researching each show, including a timeline of events that we put together, newspaper clippings, court documents, and much, much more, come check us out at truecrime.blog.
1, 2, 3,
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Okie Investigations. My name is Trevor Shelby. In this episode, we are going to discuss the murder of State Trooper John Barter. He was responding to a call and died in the line of duty. In this episode, we'll discuss what happened, why, and what happened since. But first, if you're a first-time listener to experience this podcast to its finest, hit that subscribe button so when we have new episodes, you will be the first to know. Then, head on over to our Facebook page. Here we can discuss the case together and perhaps come up with our own theories on the many cases that will be featured on this show. You can find us at facebook.com/Okie Investigations. I hope everyone's well on this beautiful weekend. I say beautiful weekend. As I look out my window, it is just foggy as it can be. It's funny how everything's so much nicer when you're on vacation. This week, I will be camping and will return for next weekend's show. We're putting together a series of our short stories to make a fun way back Wednesday episode. So, if you've already heard every episode of this show, you can go ahead and skip Wednesday because it's going to be stuff you've already heard. Now, if you want to listen to it again, by all means, hit that play button. But if you're new and you're just getting caught up, then these might be new for you. There's some pretty good ones in there, so definitely check that out. We will also be posting some of those on our Facebook as well. This week's been a roller coaster of crime here in Oklahoma. Bryce Watkins was actually captured this week. That's big news here in Oklahoma. We posted the article when the news broke, and one of our listeners, Tracy, said, "He is just evil," which, to me, correctly sums up the entire thing. Bryce is accused of sexually abusing a baby, filming it, and then putting it up on social media. He ran and was caught in Texas by U.S. Marshals. In my opinion, they can bury him under the prison for all I care. And you know what? Let's do our first official question for the show. What do you think is a good punishment of sex offenders here in Oklahoma? Does the state do a good job, or should it be changed? If it needs to be changed, what is an acceptable punishment? The question will be on facebook.com/Okie Investigations. Give me your opinions. Now, if you really want to get creative with this, go to anchor.fm/Okie Investigations, and there's a way it'll say message. When you click on that, you can leave a recorded message, and you can give us your opinion that way as well. If we get any of those, then the best one will be played for next week's show for everyone to listen to. Now, hot off the blotter, we have our Okie Criminal of the Week. This one I've yet to see mentioned in any of the news, but that's, today's local news for you. 31-year-old Whitney Marcel Smith, don't let the name fool you, he's a dude, was arrested by Oklahoma City PD for the following charges: possession of a firearm after conviction of a felony, no driver's license, speeding, failure to provide insurance, possession of marijuana, the devil's lettuce, assault with the intent to kill, and kidnapping. That's quite the list of charges. Now, his booking sheet in the Oklahoma County Jail actually lists his top 3 charges. What he's being charged with is assault with the intent to kill, kidnapping, and the possession of a firearm after former conviction of a felony. His bond amount totals over $600,000, but I'm sure he'll be okay. I hear Ken Boyers everywhere, so. Now let's get on with today's show, shall we? It's January 23rd, 1959, right around 5 p.m. Hotel porter Eddie Mayfield receives a phone call. It's his girlfriend, Bernice Scott. She has a flat tire and she needs help changing it. Eddie, who's been distant with his girlfriend as of late due to ongoing arguments, puts that all aside and tells her that he'll be out that way pretty quick. She was parked just outside of Altus on a county road near US 62. Eddie got out there as quickly as possible. Once he finds her, he pulls up nearby and notices something strange. There's a man in the car sitting next to his girlfriend. Perhaps somebody was walking by and decided to keep her company? Or is it a friend? He gets out of his car and starts to walk up, and as he does, both the man and his girlfriend get out of their car. They both lift up handguns and open fire at Eddie. Eddie feels something hit him hard in his side, and he turns to run. There's a creek nearby, and he leaps into the tall grass and gets away on foot. Now, even though they were outside of town, those gunshots were still heard, and they were reported to police. As the two made their getaway, they're pulled over by Highway Patrolman John Barter. John walks up to the car and laughs because he knows the man driving the car. As he approaches the driver's side window, he asks the driver what's going on. The man replies, "Target practice." John asks them to hand over the weapon, and the woman hands it over. Then John informs them that he's going to have to take them in. And that's when the driver of the car pulls out another pistol and opens fire on the officer at point-blank range. The officer staggered around his car and collapsed face down in the ditch. The two again fled the scene. Now, 30 minutes later in Frederick, Oklahoma, Miss Young is working as a waitress in a cafe. Someone walks through the door and she looks up, and it's her husband, Mr. Roy Young. She pauses because he has a weird look on his face. He stands in the doorway and lifts his arm, and she realizes that he has a pistol. He quickly fires 4 shots in her direction, and then he flees the scene. Miss Young was unhurt in the shooting. All shots missed. She watched as her husband ran to a blue truck, and inside that truck she noticed that there was a woman with him in the passenger seat. Officers arrive on scene where they find John Barter dead in a ditch. A few miles away, Eddie is found shot. He flags for help and is taken to the hospital to be treated for his gunshot wound. It's there he tells the police his strange story of what happened and why he had been injured. He describes the vehicle, and it's an exact match for the one that was at the cafe shooting later on in the day. Police were able to put those 2 crimes together. In an attempt to stop further crimes from happening, the police start setting up roadblocks all over the place. They're checking car by car and looking out for the description of the vehicle that's been used in all of these crimes. Eventually, by luck, they were able to find and arrest both Mr. Roy Young and Bernice Scott. Now, in a lot of our episodes, there's like an air of mystery of what happened and why. But this was pretty straightforward because this Bonnie and Clyde, if you will, they freely admit to their crimes. When arrested, both of them admitted to police of what they were doing. Apparently, these two had some kind of pact where they were going to take out each other's spouses. Here's an interesting piece of information I found in the Daily Oklahoman of the time. Bernice Scott, a 25-year-old prostitute accused in the pistol slaying of Barter, flippantly told authorities that if hotel porter Eddie Mayfield had stood still and allowed himself to be killed, Barter would have never died. And as crazy as that statement was, she also told police that she still wanted Eddie Mayfield dead. Now, the article goes on to say Ray Young, an unemployed Frederick taxi driver accused with actually shooting Barter, said two other patrolmen who apprehended him and the woman at Ratlet, Oklahoma, were lucky to be alive. He said that he and Miss Scott had made a sole agreement that they would not allow anything to prevent them from carrying out pledges to kill Mayfield and Young's wife, a Frederick waitress. Young said the woman reminded him of the agreement after Barter had taken her gun, and it was then that he fired the fatal shot. He said she also pressured him to kill the two troopers who stopped them later. The pair scrawled their agreement on a piece of paper. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy to think that you can go from having an argument with your spouse or loved one and you can turn that into, well, let's just murder them. Now, I want to remind everybody right now, if you're thinking about it, just remember, it only takes two 20s and a 10 to get a divorce. Two 20s and a 10, $50. You see the signs everywhere on the side of the road. $50 divorce. And those are uncontested, I know, but I'm just saying, it's not hard. It's a lot easier than murdering someone and getting away with it. I just don't understand this. Don't understand it at all. I always hear the statement where people say, love makes you do funny things. And I always think, yeah, it also makes you do stupid things too. Really stupid things. Now, although both Ray Young and Bernice Scott received murder charges here, they requested separate trials, especially Bernice Scott. She wanted a separate trial from Ray because if you think about it, Ray's the one that pulled the trigger. He's the one that's looking at the death penalty, and she did not want to be a part of his trial. The judge agrees, and at both of their trials, the truth of all this really comes out. You see, Bernice Scott wanted to move to Oklahoma City, but she wanted her boyfriend, the hotel porter Eddie, she wanted him to move with her. He didn't want to. He liked where he lived, and he wasn't going anywhere. Ray Young had been separated from his wife. They split up sometime before this, and he kept trying to get back together. His wife refused to get back together, and it was this common problem that Ray Young and Bernice Scott had, that they decided that they were going to work together to kill each other's significant other. The trial was pretty quick and to the point, and the jury came back very quickly with the verdict of guilty. Now, when the penalty phase started, they had a little bit of trouble when it came to Ray Young's sentencing. See, they had to choose between life imprisonment and the death penalty. The state was really, really pushing for the death penalty. And the jury just could not decide which way to go. At one point, they were voting 10-2 for the death penalty. Then one of the jurors got sick, and they weren't really able to get a good vote. So the jury ended up giving up when the votes was about 8-4 for the death penalty. So they lost a few votes there. The judge then declared that the trial was a mistrial, and they were going to try him again. Just days later, they again try Ray Young for the murder, and this time they kind of go through everything a little bit more, and they show the intent to kill by showing that they had purchased the pistols just days before, and they had a lot of testimony and eyewitness accounts of their intent to kill their significant others, and the jury was a little bit more accepting of the death penalty here. because after they returned a guilty verdict, they then returned a recommendation of the death penalty. Bernice Scott was then tried, and she pleaded guilty, and her penalty phase was also fairly quickly. They went a little bit easy on her, and they took the death penalty off the table, and she was sentenced to life in prison. Now, if you think this couldn't get any weirder, you'd be completely wrong. It's December 15th, 1960, and Ray is being prepared to be put to death. And he's walking into the death chamber where the electric chair is awaiting him. He is given a chance to give his last words, and they were, "I wish you all a Merry Christmas, and I have no ill feelings towards anyone." The reports then said that just before they pulled the switch, he purposely winked at everyone. Very odd, very, very odd case. Miss Scott, who was sentenced to life in prison, was paroled in 1975. Very sad case. This trooper lost his life due to two people being irrational and not accepting that things don't always go the way you want them to go. It is one reality that officers face every day on the line of duty that I don't think a lot of people think about. Anyways, guys, I will see you guys next Sunday, where we will take another step into the dark side of Oklahoma's history. Make sure you like, subscribe. You can find us at facebook.com/Okie Investigations and anchor.fm/Okie Investigations. I'll see you guys next time. See ya.